Let's just begin with your name and title and exactly where you're located right now in Iraq.
Right. My name is Major General Mark Hertling. I'm the commander of Task Force Iron, which is the multinational division north, and we're based in Tikrit, Iraq.
Well, what has been your experience in terms of working with civilians in Iraq? Have you noticed any kind of change over the course of the time that you've been there?
Well, Deborah, that's a great question. I've only been here for about 30 days this time, but I was here in 2003, 2004 for a 15-month rotation in Baghdad, and I've seen significant change in the people, in the Iraqi army, and in the Iraqi police. What I think that change revolves around is the fact that the people feel more secure because of an improved Iraqi army and Iraqi security force, both the police and the army, and they feel more comfortable in terms of making their neighborhoods safer, their cities safer. So it is improving every day.
How safe is it on the ground in Iraq right now? I mean, how would you describe what the situation is?
There's still certainly challenges. There are still some tough areas, some really tough areas, but I think because the Iraqi army and police are improving and we're combining with them in terms of operations to go after al-Qaeda and other extremists, that it is getting safer in some cities. I don't mean to mislead, because there are certainly still dangerous areas here, but it's getting better on a daily basis.
Well, what has been your experience on the ground about what difference the surge or the increase in troops has had, and where do you see that impact going forward?
Well, what I see here in Multinational Division North is it's certainly safer in the western part of the country in Anbar. It's gotten safer in Baghdad, which is all great for both of those areas. But as al-Qaeda and the other extremists have been pushed out of those areas, some of them have been captured or killed. Others have squeezed into the northern provinces. So what we're seeing up here now is somewhat of a enemy that's attempting to get their feet back under them. They're attempting to get back to the areas that they were interested in. So I think our requirement up here in the north is continue to pursue the extremists, al-Qaeda and the Jaish al-Mahdi special groups until they're completely defeated. So that's the critical piece up here in the north.
I mean, just some of the other things that we've been hearing about in the U.S. in terms of northern Iraq are the concerns about Turkey and the Kurdish issue. To what degree do you sense that kind of trouble on the ground?
Well, as a military commander, quite frankly, I can't comment on what is going on between the Turkish and the northern Iraqi provinces. There are certainly some diplomatic efforts ongoing between the Turks, the Iraqi government, and in fact the U.S. government. It's causing some concern in the north, but I think that the diplomats and the politicians are working those concerns right now.
But is that something that you actually feel the impact of on the ground? You know, not
really.
Yeah.
No, not really. We're monitoring it, but we really don't see the effects here in NMD North.
In terms of just going back to the strategy of the surge, I think the way it was presented, certainly in Washington, is that the surge was there to allow the Iraqi political forces to have the room to try to reach some kind of reconciliation. What is your read on that?
I think it worked to do that. It's giving the Iraqi government, which is faced with all sorts of challenges, some opportunities to continue to work through their progress. I mean, it's very difficult, I think, from 8,000 miles away in the United States to determine how fast or how slowly the Iraqi government is working, because they're working under some extremely difficult conditions for the first time. They're making progress, but they're also in the middle of a war where they're trying to secure their people. So I think the Iraqi politicians are doing their very, very best to take the nation forward. There are some concerns. There are some special interests, if you will, but that's to be expected in any new forming government. So I think we perhaps sometimes give the Iraqi government the new Iraqi government short shrift in terms of their opportunities to deal with problems. That's my personal view. But I think from what I see, the provincial governors, the provincial directors of police, the Iraqi army are continuing to work, as Ambassador Crocker said in his testimony to Congress, along with General Petraeus, to work from the provinces up to the central government. And we're here to help with that.
Do you get any sense of discouragement that it seems, certainly when you look at polling figures in the United States, that the majority of Americans are not supporting the war in Iraq and even think it was a mistake? How does that play out on the ground for American soldiers?
They watch it. Frankly, they see it in the news. But it was interesting. This afternoon I was down in Diyala, and I was, in fact, asking some soldiers if they thought they were making a difference. And there was a little bit of hesitancy. I had a group of young privates and sergeants around a striker. We had just gone through the city of Muqtadiya, and I asked them if they thought they were making a difference, because they're a part of that city that's coming back to life again, with markets, people feeling a little bit secure, while there's another part of that city which is still being intimidated by Al-Qaeda. So I asked these soldiers, do they think they were making a difference? And some of them said yes, some of them said they weren't sure. And what I told them is, based on my previous tour in Iraq, my wife and I have 2 sons and a daughter-in-law who have served here 3 times in the last 3 years, knowing that they sometimes were frustrated, but as they got away from it and they saw some of the changes and then came back to it, they realized that Iraq is improving on a daily basis. It's slow, but it's some tough conditions over here too. There are some despicable enemies that are trying to kill the population. They are trying, every time a group stands up, a concerned local citizens group or a group of sheikhs who are trying to pull the people together, the enemies of Iraq see that as a threat, so they go after that. So it's a very difficult situation.
Well, at this point, I mean, how do you you think the U.S. is winning in Iraq, and how would you define what a victory would mean at this point for the United States?
Yeah. I've listened to the winning argument for the last 5 years. It's been very interesting. And what I would say as a student of history and as a student of military history specifically, it's a complex insurgency. You don't win complex insurgencies. You continually gain and improve. And I think, although it's been slow, and the government is standing up, and the Iraqi security forces, which started from zero, are now a very capable organization and getting better every day, I think we're gaining. I think we're gaining. That's my personal opinion. I'll never put a mark on the wall that says we've won and we're going to sign a declaration on the deck of the USS Missouri, but we've continued to gain every day over here. It's sometimes been slow, but I think it's doing well.
Do you worry, though, that the American people will get frustrated with what's going on in Iraq in terms of what expectations may have been and sort of pull the plug too soon?
I do, to a degree. I think I don't want to speak for all of the American people, but I think sometimes we want quick results. And when you're forming a government, I would only say that we only need look at our own government a few hundred years ago. It takes a long time to represent the people and to get it near right. That's what the Iraqi people are trying to do. What I see, quite frankly, in the Iraqi culture is a very good people that have been traumatized by some sadistic leaders and some very tough institutions. And they're trying to get beyond that. And I think we're trying to help them. No matter if you believe the war was right or wrong when we got into it, we're here now, and we're trying to help a good group of people gain a representative government and that they can live safely under.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate you taking the time, and the best of luck with all your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.